All right. Welcome, everybody. This is our first office hours session for our winter microgrant program. So we're just going to be sharing a little bit more about some details of the program. Any questions you might have to apply, you're welcome to ask. And we can't wait to see your applications. So for a brief outline of our program, of the presentation today, we'll just talk about the overview of the program, what are our goals, eligibility and requirements of the program, and we'll share some sample projects from our spring and summer 2020 microgrant program. We'll also walk you through our application process, what you need to prepare to apply, some sample budgets to help you think through that part of your application, and ways that we can help you, which are a lot. And then a little bit about the evaluation. So we'll give you a brief look at the evaluation form that we'll send at the end of the project so that you know what kinds of things to be thinking about as you implement your project. And then lastly, there's time for Q&A, and we are open to taking questions or helping you think through your project at all at the end of this. So to share just a little bit about our organizations, so this microgrant project is being delivered this year by the Denver Community Active Living Coalition, which is an initiative of the Denver Department of Transportation and Infrastructure. We are also partnering with the Denver Partnership and the Trust for Public Land on this program as well. If you guys want to give a brief background about your organization.
Yes, thank you, Kayla. My name is Jessica Vargas. I'm the program manager for the Denver Streets Partnership. We are a coalition of community organizations here in Denver, advocating for people-friendly streets, where people can walk, bike, take transit, and supports the livability and equity of our communities. And we are also funded in part by the Trust for Public Land, whose mission is to create parks and protect land for people, ensuring healthy, livable communities for generations to come. So our partnership is really focused on active living and improving the built environment for walking and biking.
Awesome, thank you. So as you heard a little bit, the goals of our program are really to make it safer, easier, and more fun for people to be able to walk, bike, use transit, and just be physically active in Denver. So we launched this microgrant to allow you to make an impact on these goals with a micro project that you can lead in your own neighborhood. You can then identify any need that you see in your neighborhood and build a project around it. Our team can also provide technical assistance as well as funds through the grant to help you make your project successful. Just wanting to emphasize too, micro is pretty small. You know, these aren't huge dollar amounts, and micro grants are really small projects. So it should be something that is quick, easy to get off the ground, and complete within just a few months and only a little bit of manpower. Eligibility, any individual or organization within the city and county of Denver is eligible to apply for this micro grant. We are taking applications from any individual who can request up to $200 that we'll distribute via gift cards. And then organizations with a valid W-9 can also request up to $1,000, and that will be distributed through a check or purchase order. Some requirements for our program is that every project must support current public health orders and social distancing guidelines. We are definitely still in the midst of COVID, and it's very important for us to make sure that we are ensuring our safety of our communities. So that means everything from when you procure your materials to implementing your project and actual usage should follow public health orders. We are also happy to connect you with resources to help you think through planning that and make sure that you're keeping folks safe with your project. Additionally, project must be located within the city and county of Denver, and you must complete your project by April 30th, 2021. And that also includes the documentation and evaluation survey. There are some things that we cannot fund. We are funded by grant funds, which have some limitations. So we can't fund direct compensation to individuals for time and labor. We can't fund perishable or non-perishable food items. And we can't fund personal hygiene or cleaning supplies or single-use items, such as masks, hand sanitizer, and gloves. Additionally, we can't fund any project that would encourage gatherings or go against public health guidelines, as I mentioned before. We can't fund any project that would install or put any unpermitted furniture or items in the right-of-way that would impede local traffic. and we can't fund any project that doesn't relate specifically to our goals of physical activity, active transportation, or the built environment. And now we can provide a couple examples of some sample projects that we did fund earlier this year with our spring and summer micro grant. Christian, do you want to share about the Montbello project?
Yes, hello, my name is Christian Stewart. I am a community connector for the Community Active Living Coalition, and Montbello is the area in which I work. And so the small project that I'll talk about is the Montbello bike rides. In the midst of COVID, what we had to do was shift our projects to something we led, to just really making sure that we support projects for the community. So this particular Montbello bike rides, it was a series of 5 rides that we partnered with other organizations, but the first 2 bike rides were from the micro grant. And so the micro grant actually ended up having gift cards for the people who participated in these bike rides. Now the bike rides was to highlight the bike lanes that are being installed in Montbello, and start to get some evaluation metrics about what routes would be more suitable for community. And so we used it as a community engagement tool. Also, we invited other people to the bike rides, which include Council District 11 and their assistants. And so they told a little bit about what's going on in that office. And we talked and reviewed the new Montbello bicycle skills course. And so that was something that we wanted to expose our riders to, and we partnered with other organizations to make sure not only did they have bike rides, or actually a bike, but they had helmets and any other safety gear associated with riding a bike. And then we also explored the open streets, the recreational streets in Colorado, and we saw what it felt like to ride on these streets, what worked and what didn't work. And so we really gave a lot of technical assistance to the community member that really wanted to do this, and we supported it in every way we knew how to.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Feng Tran, and I'm the community connector coordinator for Southwest Denver, and I work in the Community Active Living Coalition. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our bilingual chalk art. So as Kayla mentioned, our micro grant is simple, encourage walking and biking, but also it could be very fun. So what we did was also fun chalk art projects around Denver. So as you can see on your right over here, someone is doing a chalk art, and it's to encourage people to get out there and also to learn Spanish while they are walking around their neighborhood or just kind of connecting with each other. And we funded a couple of these projects too in other neighborhoods. And a lot of people also doing my part Colorado, the hashtag. So that was really cool during COVID, and just trying to encourage people to social distance and also staying safe during this time, but also having fun, and a really good way to connect with one another through art. So yeah, so something as simple as artwork that we're able to fund, and we really want to encourage this winter micro grant to also incorporate some art in it, because I know winter could be cold and people want to stay inside, but we do have some really nice sunny weathers here in Colorado. So hopefully, you know, we do see some chalk art projects this round.
Thanks. And then one last project that we wanted to highlight as well is the picture in the middle of a bike delivery project. So an organization wanted to help with food assistance and getting more food to people who really needed it this spring and summer during COVID. And so our grant helped them purchase 2 new bike trailers so that they could transport food to people in need via bike. So that was another project that we helped fund this summer. Of course, these are just some examples. You don't have to copy any of these things exactly, but we wanted to give you some ideas, some of the creative ideas that folks came up with earlier this year. Obviously, things will look a lot different in the winter, so think about that and get creative. So next, we wanted to just walk you through our application process. Think about the things that we are asking for in the interest form. So to find our application, you just have to go to our website. That's denvercalc.org. I've made a pop-up that will pop up directly. Looks like this box in the bottom corner that will direct you directly to our microgrant information. The form to apply is embedded at the bottom of that page, or there's also a link if that form does not load or work for you. Of course, if you have any issues accessing or finding this, you can email us at any time. With that form, it is very simple. We tried to make it as easy as possible for you. Some things that you just need to be thinking about during your application and a couple things that we need to know. So when you fill out your interest form, start with your email address. This is how we will contact you and connect with you about your project. Your name, obviously, we want to know. What type of application are you? So individuals that can apply for the $200 max award, or an organization that can apply it to $1,000. If you're an organization, you'll also add your organization's name and upload your W-9. That will help us ensure we can get funds to you as quickly as possible. And then we'd like you to name your project, and this is how we'll refer to your project publicly in the future, because we definitely want to promote your project. And then continuing with the interest form, these next 3 questions are the bulk of what your application will be graded on. So we'll ask you to describe your project idea. This doesn't need to be super extensive, 200 words max. Just tell us what do you want to do. Show us what your passion and creativity is. Explain how your project fills a need that you see in your community. Tell us what you hope your outcomes might be. And then make sure that you make an explicit connection to how your project relates to transportation, physical activity, or the built environment. The next question is just to describe who will benefit from your projects. Tell us what neighborhood is your project going to be in, or multiple neighborhoods if that's the case. And tell us any ideas that you have to specifically target people that are in the most need around you. We do have in our grading criteria that we are giving preference to projects that can prioritize high need communities in the delivery of their project. So make that clear for us if you plan to do that. And then lastly, provide a basic overview of your proposed budget. This doesn't need to be a super detailed budget. We just want you to be thinking about what items do you need to be able to pull off your project, and where might you be able to purchase those items and how much they might cost, so that you can fit them into the overall microgrant. The very last question is just a couple agreements that are required to deliver the project. So if you're funded, you must complete the project prior to April 30th, complete the project evaluation also prior to April 30th, and that the project will and support stay at home and social distancing public health orders. So next, we just have a couple of sample budgets. I don't want to spend a ton of time here, but this is a resource for you if you're looking for some ideas on how to put together a budget. We can share the spreadsheet with you. You're welcome to borrow it. And we have just some examples of projects that we funded earlier this year and kind of what those project budgets break out to be. We're not looking for anything more complicated than something like this, and it can even be simpler as well. Lastly, just want to emphasize too that these microgrants come with a ton of technical assistance. This whole team that you see here is ready and available to help you think through your project, your application, how you're going to deliver this kind of project. You're welcome to set up a one-on-one meeting with us, come to our office hours next week or at another time. You can also just email us what your ideas are at calc@denvergov.org. You can also go ahead and apply with your interest form if you have an idea that you want to run by us. Every application we receive will receive follow-up and feedback. And if your project isn't immediately funded for funding, you are welcome to take that feedback and reapply, or talk to us about feedback that could help you get to a successful application. We are taking applications on a recurring basis, and we'll be reviewing them regularly. And then lastly, evaluation. So once once your project is funded, we'll just ask you to do a little bit of evaluation for us, and that's so that we can build the case for why these microgrants are great and why we should keep doing things like this. So just some things to keep in mind. Just take lots of pictures as you're delivering your project, and keep track of any metrics, numbers of people reached, or any good quotes or anecdotes along the way. This is a sample evaluation form. Need to go back to the beginning of it. This is the evaluation that we used last year. So this is a sample right now, although it will probably be very similar to this, if not exactly the same what you receive. Basically, we'll just ask you to share your email, your name, your project, so that we can connect that back. Tell us a little bit about the process of the microgrant. So was it easy for you to apply, deliver your project, anything that you want to tell us about the process? And then tell us a little bit about your project. What type of project was it? Where did it focus? When? Who did it serve? And then this is where you would enter any numbers of, if you know how many people your project served, if you handed out 50 seed packets to 50 different people, that's what you would put in here. And then how many people were involved in the partnership of your project. So if you worked with a couple other people to deliver it, or other organizations, that's where you would add that in here as well. And then just tell us more about your project. So what did you actually do? So you told us in your application what you intended to do. This might look a little bit different, but tell us what you did and how you used your grant funds. Provide any anecdotes or stories. And then in your own words, do you think your project was successful and why? You can also submit photos here with the evaluation form. We also encourage you to submit photos to us at any time as you're delivering your project. We will share those all winter and spring. And then you can also provide a photo credit or anything else about your photos if you'd like to. And then we also just have some questions about your long-term impact. So did delivering this microgrant have any impacts on you as a leader in your Denver community? And do you have any future plans for your project? If you found some successes, do you want to build on those, and what does that look like to you? And then lastly is just some demographics about you as a leader who delivered this project. So this personal information will not be shared publicly. It's just for us to use in our own reporting of how our microgrant program is serving people across the city. And you are welcome to skip any questions you are not comfortable answering here. And that is the evaluation form. Again, the actual final evaluation form will be sent directly to the funded projects in January or February. So you'll be getting that from us directly. And that is all that we have. We can go into Q&A, and I just want to ask my team, is there anything else that you would like to emphasize to anyone watching about their grant or their application?
I don't think so.
Anything I missed? All right. Well, I think that is all then. We will be putting this recording up on the website so that you can review this at a later date if you'd like to. And then again, you are welcome to email us with any questions that you might have. And that's calc@denvergov.org. We are looking forward to getting your applications. And I will go ahead and end our recording.